Listening to RTI Audio, powered by Rocky Top Insider. This is Pancakes and Bacon with VFL, Kyler Kerbyson, and Reed Bacon.
Hello, Vol Nation. Welcome to another episode of Pancakes and Bacon. I'm your host, as always, Kyler Kerbyson, joined with Reed Bacon. We got a good one. Vols win. Get that bad taste out of our mouth. Whoop up on some Kentucky. So good weekend. We're going to break down the game. Before we get into that, if you guys are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download. Follow us on all those listening platforms. Follow us on social media. Everything is in the description below. Before we jump into the week of college football, the game, looking ahead to OU, Reed, how are we doing, bud?
Hey, there he is. What's up, Kyler? Hello, Vol Nation. How we doing this Sunday? You look good. You look good over there. Looking nice.
Thank you.
Yeah, looking good. I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Much better than I was last week. Not only because I hate Alabama and we lost to them, but in the fashion that we did, it was a very deflating and defeating with the play at the goal line. And so now, Kyler, I'll be honest, going into this week, I said it's Kentucky. We usually always beat Kentucky, whether it's a blowout or they play well and we end up pulling it away. Or pulling it, it's like I said, either a blowout or it's close, and we ended up, winning in the end. But I said, what to expect from this team? We are about to be in November. We've got, I guess, 4 games left, if I'm not mistaken. Oklahoma, bye week, New Mexico. Who else do we have before Vandy? Man,
is it another cupcake?
I feel like it is.
I think so.
How wild is this that I forgot the schedule? Let me pull it up real quick as I talk.
I don't think it's that wild.
Oh, it's Florida. How did I forget Florida? Whoa. I know why I forgot Florida, because they're trash, but I'm shocked that I forgot about them because it's still Florida at the Swamp.
Yeah, it's also the mind is set up to where we've already played Florida.
True. Great.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm so used to being like, yeah. That's not the end. That's not the end of the season game.
Yeah, great point. Yeah.
Even Brienne, like I was watching it with her. It was up on the big screen, and she was like, I remember it's so cold at that game. I bet it's so cold right now. And I was like, well, actually, it's usually at the end of November. So it's probably a lot warmer than it usually is.
I was telling my dad this last night. Josh Ward made a really funny joke on the Sports Animal this week. He was like, Tennessee and Kentucky could play in the middle of July, but if it's at Kentucky, it's going to be cold.
That's so true.
Yeah, exactly. Anyways, I'm usually always excited to talk to you about games. I'm excited to hear your opinion on this one as well. But I going into the game, I wasn't necessarily worried about losing, but the way we played with Arkansas, and then the way we played at Mississippi State, and then how I felt like we just shot ourselves in the foot a bunch against Alabama. And then you see it. I was talking about it last week, how everybody wants everybody fired, but every week, there's a team that's either getting upset or has a chance to lose. And you see that yesterday with Alabama at South Carolina, which I don't like South Carolina and I don't like Beamer, but I wanted them to win that game badly because I just can't stand Alabama. But you just
helped us out a little bit in the SEC conversation, and I think that game, we'll get into it, but I think that game proves your point of home and away.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. And so that's kind of the thing is, well, I don't think Texas is very good, but they do have a lot of talent, and Kentucky just played them really tough. And so, Obviously you would think Kentucky fans would much rather beat Tennessee than Texas. So maybe it's going to be rowdy in there. But then we go on the road at night in the SEC, and once the game started and once I started getting the vibe of it, I said, we're not losing this game. And that's a great feeling compared to how it has been and how other teams have looked. And some people with the Heupel stuff, Heupel can't win the big one on the road. He can't win at night on the road. Well, if he does win the big one on the road, i.e. Oklahoma last year, the offense isn't scoring. The offense isn't doing what it needs to do. And last night, I don't care whether it was Kentucky or not, they did what they were supposed to do. They went up there, and as I tweeted out, they dropped bombs over Lexington last night. I mean, seeing those deep shots was a thing of beauty. I think in football, the things that get me the most excited, and this is coming from a defensive guy, but a great open field tackle where a DB comes up, flies, hits a guy in the legs, chops him down in the open field on the sideline. Love that stuff. A goal line stand. Love that stuff. A 12 to 15 yard play drive where you just pound it and take their will away from them. I love all those things. But even as a defensive guy, there's not many things that are more beautiful than when you see your quarterback load up like, hey, he's got something. He's got something by the way he looks and acts and like he's gearing up to let this thing launch.
The way he leans back a little bit.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That angle of the shoulders up like he's hitting a drive here coming up.
Yeah. And listen, I don't know. I'll never forget this. I will never forget this. But you can just tell when quarterbacks have something. The year that we beat Georgia on the Dobbs throw, when we were on defense, I was watching that game with like 5 or 6 people. So you could ask them. I think the quarterback's name at the time was like Jacob Eason maybe or something like that. He's a big, taller guy from Georgia. He ended up transferring, I think, to Washington. But he loads up. And I said, oh, no, he's got something. Oh, no, he's got something. And he lets it rip. And you're like, oh, my gosh, no. Now, great news. We ended up getting our own, and we ended up winning the game. But you can just tell with quarterbacks. And so multiple times last night as I'm watching the game out at my folks' house, and I'm like, he's got something. And then he lets it rip. And it might have only been like that deep dig to Chris Brazzell earlier in the game or like the deep dig climb crossover to Braylon. But it's just like you can tell when he's got it, and then you see it, and it's bombed, and it's completed because of all the ones that we saw that were incomplete the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. Man, it's fun. It's fun. And so it was nice. It was nice to handle it because, once again, I was still a little worried. I didn't know what I was going to see. We will talk about the defense, but it was nice to have a fun, stress-free game. I'll stop there for right now. But what were your overall thoughts on everything?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I didn't have nerves going into it. I thought the beginning of the game, how quickly our offense was going, the defensive touchdown, very much made it feel like, okay, we got this handled. But I didn't like them sneaking close. And just like overall, I'll say it like this, Kentucky still scored 34 points. And that's not great to hold a team to 34 points. Even their fans, their media, like they're like, hey, the offense looked good. We had a freshman quarterback out there and he looked good. Like they're taking that part of it as a victory. So it makes me feel like shootouts are the inevitable in the future. And I really appreciate the consistency from the offense, the execution from the offense. But it's also like, hey, it's easier to execute versus Kentucky than it is Alabama. I'm going to tell you that 9 times out of 10. You're both away games, but guess what? So can I completely trust that this is exactly what's going to move forward and they're not going to shoot themselves in the foot. Not completely, but I'm happy they did what they were supposed to do.
Kyle, let me
because I do feel like this is probably, besides, like, I would say Syracuse and then UAB are the only two teams worse than this one that we've played.
So, and I agree with you. I totally get that. And I very much have come on this podcast plenty of times and said, hey, you got to do it for me against X, Y, and Z because UAB and Syracuse and New Mexico, A&M, La Tech, like that doesn't do it for me. So I hear you. But I saw how I felt like we shot ourselves in the foot against the likes of an Arkansas, which Arkansas isn't that good, but they're not bad. But we were at home, so therefore I'm thinking, hey, you better execute better. Or at Mississippi State on the road, Mississippi State not a bad team in in the SEC and in the grand scheme of things. So I hear you. But once again, and I said this last week, and I think you've said it too, it's about us. It's not about who we play. Mm-hmm. And so I don't care who it was at this point in the season. It was on the road at night against an SEC team. They still have some players, and we executed. So I am a little bit happier than, hey, yeah, you got to go do it, against the Oklahoma defense and not a Kentucky defense. Listen, and they're gonna have the opportunity to do that. We'll talk about the OU game because I do have a lot of thoughts on it. So I hear you. But for me, still, it was still nice to see it. Yeah,
it was still great to see. It's never a bad thing to get a win. So it's like, that's what I want to see. Before we jump into,
I don't want to derail this real quick. Real brief question. We've seen Tennessee under Heupel win games where we outscore people, and we've seen them where we get the lead and then run it and play really good defense. Do you care, or do you have an opinion one way or the other, which one that you feel most confident in?
Like it gives me most confidence moving forward in the team?
Just do you to simplify it, Do you feel more comfortable in this year's team with our offense or last year's team with the defense?
I think last year's team with the defense.
Okay, so that's who you felt more confident. So you're saying if these two teams last year and this year played, you're going to feel more confident with last year's?
Yes.
Okay.
Because even though the offense was struggling, as one would say, we still had the SEC Player of the Year, like Offensive Player of the Year. Like Dylan Sampson was a massive, massive part of that team. And when there's a side of the ball I don't have to worry about, it's like I was worried after last week's game about the offense. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like it hasn't been completely foolproof. So if it was a little bit more of that, like, hey, they never get stopped. Like if Alabama was a shootout and we still lost, maybe it's different.
That's fair. That's fair. So play with me here in this hypothetical. Just Tennessee's 2022 offense or last year's defense or whatever the case. Like, do you have a lean of an opinion of I'd rather my offense be really good or my defense be really good? Because I was thinking about it. I don't know if I have a lean because they're both stressful. In one way, it's like, hey, our defense is great, but I don't know if we can score 10 points. So the defense is probably going to have to give us a short field or turnover. But then if your offense is really good, then you say, hey, our defense only has to get us 1 or 2 stops a game and we're fine.
Yeah, so I think I might have more optimism if the offense is good.
Okay.
I feel like it's easier to get a special teams touchdown or a turnover and touchdown and be like, well, our defense still held them to 0. And it's like, yeah, but you still lost the game.
Right. Right.
So I think it would feel better with a high-powered offense and maybe a lackluster defense.
Okay. I was just curious. Yeah. Okay.
Before we jump into the week.
Yep. Bacon junk removal. please reach out to us. Please give us an opportunity. If you have any questions, call us. I am more than happy to talk, answer any questions, talk to you about the process, how it goes, what we can do, the scope of what we can do, residential, commercial, small jobs, big jobs, whatever you need help with. Kyler, thank you for bringing that up. Here's the quote. It's simple, but it's this time of year. You got to win or you got to go home. Our season is done. If we didn't make the kick or stop them or win in overtime against Georgia, we did not play our best. And as Kyle likes to say, we went bathroom down our leg. And so now we can't drop one. But you know what? You probably, in my opinion, you shouldn't drop one the rest of this year. Oklahoma is interesting to me, but you shouldn't lose to them at home. You should not lose to Vandy at home. And I don't care how, Florida has athletes and it's going to be at the Swamp and they would love to ruin our season, but that you cannot, that would be a bad loss if you go lose that, in my opinion. So,
yes.
What's your thoughts on CFB Week 9?
I think a lot of teams kind of found out who they are this week. I mean, the Ole Miss Oklahoma was a big one, just two one-loss teams going back and forth. And we'll talk more about that game when we talk about Oklahoma. So I thought that was a big one. I thought Texas A&M, they just really I think people were doubting them. They had the win versus Notre Dame, but people weren't looking at Notre Dame the same. And this was a big one for them. Beat LSU at night and really whooped them. Handled them pretty easily. So I think that separated them. The Alabama-South Carolina game, like I said, I think that really does speak to your point you made last week of playing them at home, playing them away, what that difference is. Because – yes, Alabama has had a great 5-week span, of winning games versus ranked opponents, of winning tough battles, of pulling it out at the end. A fumble and then a great drive to finish that game. But watching the Missouri game at Missouri, then watching this game at South Carolina, and then watching our game, feels like those teams are different. When they are away, when they are at home. Now, that's no excuse. That's no making me feel better. But it is, hey, there's a difference. There's a difference there. And I think until proven otherwise, until further notice, that Alabama-Tennessee game is going to be who's at home, who's at home, who's at home, who's at home. Which before – it was maybe we'll get lucky, maybe we'll get lucky, maybe we'll get lucky. So I would much rather have the former. There, I think Vanderbilt, Missouri was a little eye-opening to me. I won't say that I've watched Vanderbilt religiously this season. Just been glued in on their games. I tried to watch that one a good amount, and then I rewatched some highlights too. And that kind of brought Vanderbilt back to earth of what I thought they probably are. It is a home game, but they're still fighting really tough with Missouri. Missouri's not a bad team by any means. But you think maybe Vandy has more momentum. They're at home. They should be able to pull that out. Quarterback Missouri gets hurt on that fourth and goal stand, which that in and of itself was impressive by Vandy's defense. And Diego Pavia, the way he moves, I might just have PTSD from that kind of quarterback. It really makes me nervous as shit. I remember sitting on the sideline in 2015 watching our defense lose Baker Mayfield in multiple sacks and then beating us at home. And that kind of quarterback where he's just squiggly and wiry is, I don't know. It's traumatic to me. I'm like, fuck, dude, I do not want to face that guy. So a little bit there. Mississippi State losing to Texas. They were up 17 in the fourth quarter. And again, just a heartbreaker at home. I can't believe they've won an overtime game versus Arizona State and then lost versus us, lost versus Texas. Pretty crazy, nail-biting kind of stuff over there in Mississippi State. And then teams across the country, Indiana is just showing who they are. I think it's them and Ohio State and everybody else. I won't say that. Oregon is still a good team, but the fact that Indiana went there and took care of business says a lot. And, dude, everywhere else, it's like I don't know if we're going to be able to make it into the playoff with 2 losses. Like, some teams got to lose around here because you got some undefeated teams in the Big 12. You've got some one-loss or undefeated teams in the ACC. You've got those teams I mentioned in the Big 10. And then we've got 5 teams ahead of us with 1 loss or less in the SEC.
Yeah.
So it's like this year you might not be able to make it with 2 losses.
Yeah, that's last night or yesterday, I'm sorry, I had a feeling Ole Miss would win, was playing Xbox with some buddies on Friday night, and I said I think Ole Miss wins it because I just don't trust Oklahoma, even with it being in Norman. But we needed Oklahoma to win that one bad. It would have been nice to see Ole Miss lose, but Oklahoma win. They're riding high, come in here. They're, a top 12, 13 team because I think they were 15th yesterday, so they bump up a little bit if they get that win. I'm happy Vandy
give 2
won.
teams with 2 losses on par with us, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it's you got Vandy. I'm happy they won because we need them to be as highly ranked as possible when we play them. Which Vandy does not scare me at all. Diego Pavia does not scare me. I get what you're saying with the Baker Mayfield comparison, but Baker was 1,000 times better in college than Diego Pavia, in my opinion, because he was just he had such better arm talent and could throw the ball so much better. I mean, I'm kind of, it's funny because I'm just so locked in on the SEC right now. I'm like, Indiana's kind of a cool story. Like I'm happy for Indiana, and it's cool that they're good, and we'll see what happens when they play Ohio State in the Big Ten championship. And I still don't know what I think about Ohio State yet. I don't really know because I haven't watched them. And then when you watch them, it's like they were in a dogfight with Texas. But then again, that was first game of the year. So teams change a lot. So it's like, but we know Texas isn't that good, and they struggled with them. So, I don't know. But just for Tennessee, I was saying to my dad last night, I said, we could potentially win out and still not make it. And if that's the case, that's a bummer. But I'm not upset about it, Kyler, because we had our opportunities. Like, you have to beat Georgia when you have the opportunity. Our schedule is very favorable and easy compared to a lot of the other people in the SEC. I'm not going to say it's easier than some of the, Pancakes or some of the cupcakes that they're playing in the, other leagues. But yeah, I mean, I want to win and make it. But if we don't, I guess I should wait and see who's in front of us and be like, oh my gosh, like I am mad because, Memphis doesn't deserve to make it or whoever else. I'm just throwing them out.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's kind of how I feel about the week. I mean, I don't know if I'm still sold on Texas A&M yet. I mean, I thought it was a good point that they blasted LSU at home and kind of pulled it away because, I mean, LSU's just in a lot of there's a lot of turmoil going on there. So, yeah, I don't know. It is kind of nice, though, that I do feel like you made a good point that we're kind of figuring out who teams are. I don't know who other teams are as much as I feel like I know who Tennessee is now at this point because I watched Tennessee and then rewatched games Yeah.
Of course.
So maybe my opinion's still out there. Oklahoma, we'll get to them, is still one that is one team that I feel like I totally get who they are.
Yes, I would agree. I think Texas A&M might be tough just because of the teams they've played and like what we think about those teams.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so it's just where are you holding them? Because I think a lot of us, consider LSU falling off.
And to be fair, the last time I watched Texas A&M was with you when they played Notre Dame, and I guess that was like the second.
Yeah.
That was like the second or third game of the season, so I wasn't super impressed with them then when I watched them, but I haven't watched them since. Really like sit down and watch them. So, okay, let's jump into this Kentucky game.
Let's do it.
Before we get into the plays, or I guess we can get into the plays because we've talked about it a little bit. I was just going to ask, sorry, I'm trying to think and talk and what's the best way to do this. I guess maybe just jump into plays and then we can talk about the defense as we get to it. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll talk about the defense as we talk about the plays.
Okay. So I took notes again while watching the game, and then I rewatched it some this morning before church. What? You did the same? Offense, defense, offense. Okay. Yeah, so you start the game, you got a nice little run, then you hit Chris, but there's a face mask. Then you go screen to Mike, and it felt very much
that screen to Mike, correct me if I don't know if it's the fucking camera angle. I don't know if it's just like what we're doing. I saw it and I was like, Mike looks big out there. Like he just looked like bigger this week for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was. I don't know if it's all whites or whatever, but like I saw him catch that screen and I was like, okay. And then he's like fighting forward to try and get that first down. I'm like, he doesn't look the same.
I can, now that you say that, I see what you're talking about. Maybe it is the different camera angle. I appreciate that we went all whites, and this week there were some guys wearing white cleats. We still were rocking the black gloves because I guess, I know why they do it, but Kentucky's in black, and so you try to hide holding and grabbing. But it was good to see a lot of the all white. But it felt good that it was like, hey, fast start, high pull, run, screen, get you looking, and then we PA bomb you, and we hit Chris. And I will say this: if we don't take at least 3 deep shots a game to Chris Basil, and I understand that the defense, because we've been over this, and people get mad if Heupel's running it. They say he's lost his fastball. They say he plays scared. Well, you know what? Heupel's also not going to let a quarterback that he doesn't trust throw it deep into very high safeties or very off coverage. But Chris Brazel and that deep ball is so good that if we don't see at least 3 shots a game, I'm going to be bummed. And once again, we will talk about that when we get to OU. And how that game matches up.
So you think 3 deep shots to Brazel alone needs to happen?
Yeah.
Not even 3 deep shots in general, just to him.
Yeah, probably. I think he's that good. And I get where you're coming from. Listen, I'm usually not that guy. And I don't want to say that we got to force feed him, but at least and you know what? One of those deep shots in my third could be like a fade route from 20 yards in. That could be one of mine. I get you.
Did you feel like that with Jalen Hyatt?
Hell no. No. No, because the only way Jalen was scoring is if he ran by the guy, which he's really fast. But the Chris, the ball can be a little bit overthrown, a little bit underthrown. It can be man, or it can be double coverage. I mean, whatever. And I just feel really good about him going up and get it. The guy is a very, very good receiver, very good. And the weird thing is that, to me, it's like, I know everyone thinks he's like, when we got him in the portal, they're like 6'4", 6'5". You and I seen him in person. We don't think he's 6'4", 5" at all. We think he's like 6'2", 6'3". He just looks taller because he's so lean. He's a thin boy. He's Slim Reaper out there. But, yeah, no, to answer your question, I feel so confident with the ball in the air with him.
I agree. I mean, he has made those plays throughout the season where it's like if it is in his vicinity, he's going to catch it. Even if he's out of bounds, like last night, he's going to catch it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I do like Mike, and I do really like Braylon. But Mike, if Mike's by the guy, I trust him to catch it. It's different. It's different if like a Jalen Hyatt or a Squirrel White made it behind someone, or even like a Ramel Keaton. Those guys was like, I kind of trust them, kind of didn't. Usually Cedric Tillman or Brew McCoy, I trusted them to catch it. But if Mike's by him, I think Mike has really good hands. But I'm saying just if we're just, hey, we need to take the top off here, go to Chris, because I think he's got a better chance of playing a different style of ball. So anyways, I loved how we started. I don't know if you want to hit on anything there.
No, I thought that was great too. I love all of our play actions. I love our run actions, like that pulling guard pass. That's what they were talking about so much last night, and it is very much like, hey, our best run is our counter and power. So our best play action is when we're pulling our guard across the formation, because those defenses truly think, oh shit, here it comes again.
Yeah. The safeties, man, like the safeties are just they're put in such a pickle.
Exactly. They're if not coming up, hesitating enough.
Right.
And that's all those guys on the edge need. So hit it a ton of times last night. But all that together was great.
Defense. Oh, and by the way, real quick, the fact that we got the ball and we scored that quickly, I mean, we could have driven it down, but the fact that the fact that we just got the ball and we scored, it's like, whoa, okay, we are up now 7-0. We didn't dick around and go 3 and out or have a bunch of penalties or turn it over, have to punt and let them get that momentum, because you punt to them and the way they are built, and if they go on one of those 8 or 9 play drives and score and you're down 7-0, things get really interesting really, really quick. I still trust Tennessee to respond, but it just hits different for me and our offense when we can get up first. It does, because basically when they play chase, like when they chased us, I mean, they did get within 7 at one point, but we did a pretty good job of keeping it out of reach for them and having them kind of keep chasing us, because we've talked about it a bunch. And I love that Hypo always mentions this, the way the game plays out. The things that happen, and it changes how games are played and coached and all those things. That was the beauty of 2022. We took people out of their game plan before half the stadium sat down and opened up their popcorn box. The game was over. So, okay, so defense run, it was a run by the quarterback after I thought pretty good coverage. Then they're at 2nd and 1, read option, 1st and 10, screen, and man. Good. I'm talking about him here, but I think Colton Hood has been pretty much awesome all year. Pretty much awesome almost every time I see him on film doing something. Colton Hood has been freaking fabulous. I think he's a monster in coverage, how he plays the ball. He's got a knack for the ball, but I really respect how he comes up and plays the run. And I thought multiple times yesterday he shot his gun. There was one time he shot the gun later in the game where he took on the block and he didn't just go and throw himself in there. He actually took the lineman on and helped keep make a pile type deal. But he didn't take himself out of the play. So I thought it was a great job.
It sucks over the past few years seeing so many guys, so many DBs that were like, dude, that guy is a fucking baller. And yet the defense is still a little inconsistent in pass.
Yeah.
It's just like, damn, dude, like Jamal McCoy is so damn good. And like the defense was good last year. When it's like the year before that, we're just like slobbering over these guys, the star positions, the different DBs we got. And then it's still just like, not always there. There's still so many points lit up. And it's just like, hey, you gotta have 11.
Yeah. No, yeah. For absolutely. Let's see. Then you got 2nd and 10. They throw the seam route. I couldn't tell if it was a PBU or not. I did get a little scared, but another great job by Colton. Colton's he sees at number 1, runs a little hitch, so he jumps onto number 2. So it was a great job there with his eyes.
Yeah,
and then
great
you got
job.
and then you got the nice rush by Joshua Joseph and Bryson.
Breaking hands down. Joshua Joseph is so good at it, dipping that shoulder around those tackles.
Yeah.
He did it a good amount of times last night. It didn't always get to the quarterback, but he stepped up a good amount of times. But he was consistent, putting some pressure on dudes.
Yeah. I will be tweeting out about this at some point, but Jordan Pilati.
Bro, he is going to hit you.
Dude, I mean, he flashed so many times. And then my man Jaden Harmon started flashing. Jaden Harmon hasn't made his plays yet, but when I see, I'm like, who was that? I'm like, holy crap, who was that? And I'm like, oh, that's 12. Like, he's hustling and he's flying. Those two guys make me so excited. If you look at next year, and you got, I think T-Lander will be a bona fide senior, Arian Carter another year, Edwin another year, and then you got Jaden and Jordan. Whoa. It is going to be – listen, T-Lander and AC better watch themselves because these boys can absolutely fly and move, and they play really hard. And I like Arian Carter, I do, but the fact that he didn't play last night, and I felt like our linebackers were the exact same without him, I mean, that's a little scary. Like, the fact that I didn't notice missing him is probably not ideal.
I would agree with you. Again, what I said at the beginning, this is Kentucky. It's not the other teams. So I'm with you there.
But you get what I'm saying. You get what I'm
saying. I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying.
We should have been like, oh, we miss our I don't. So, anyways, but then we go. We get a stop. Then we go back to offense. We get the hits to Braylon. 2nd and 5 were stuffed. They did a really good job. They shot the gap on the pooler, and so it just crossed face, and we couldn't get over. And then 3rd and 6 is where you can speak to it better than I can. But was it Deshaun that missed the block, or was it just someone else?
Yeah, I think Deshaun was confused on his assignment there. A guy mugged up in the gap over the guard. And it can depend on how you ID it. I think that is the biggest part, is like who was ID'd as, the guy you're picking up. Because a lot of times the offensive lineman is, hey, we got the 4 down linemen and we got this guy over that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I just think there was some confusion. I don't know if it's, hey, guard, actually you're not supposed to squeeze down. Deshaun's supposed to actually squeeze down. That's what happened. Guard went inside. Deshaun was thinking he was going to go inside and was late getting to Buddy on the outside. I don't want to say it's all Deshaun, because it could easily be, hey, guard, you're supposed to tap your butt when you're pinching. Mm-hmm. It could easily be that. So it's just, it sucks. It's miscommunication. It's not executing when you can. And those are the kinds of things that can hold this offense back. Is that right there? Nothing else. There's not a DB on Kentucky that's holding you back. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, give me a second. I'm writing a note real quick. All right. Okay. Let me continue. So then we got to punt it. We get to 1st and 10. It looks like, I don't know if that was a trap play or what, but we definitely got upfield, created the alleyways. It's the same thing we've seen Kentucky do to us before. Same thing Mississippi State and Arkansas have done, not shooting our guns and getting off blocks.
Yeah, that was a hat on a hat blocking. Like, I saw black and white jersey right on top of each other. It was pretty easy for that running back to find a good lane there. And that was consistent. I saw that later in the game too, where I'm just like, there's a black jersey on a white jersey right now.
I saw it at least that time and probably 3 more times. So,
yeah.
Okay, so now you're second and 4. You got the long ball. I thought it was really good coverage. We got the hands to the face, so now you're at 2nd and 19. Nice rollout and throw. You got to have a better rush. It's consistent with what I've seen so far. Is we get good push, but then if we get stonewalled on our first one, we don't really react well. It's like you see the drop back and like he might have to reset or move a little bit, but then he kind of has some time.
Can we go work on our push pulls at practice or something? I mean,
right. Like what
happens once the stalemate has happened with an offensive lineman?
Right. We just feel
that.
Yeah.
Let's figure something out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. So then it's 3rd and 5. Edwin free, but
great pressure dialed up. I mean,
yeah, it was
exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, Caleb's in the neutral zone. Yeah, Caleb was jumped during the neutral zone. So now you're 1st and 10. Really good stuff by Edwin and JT. I thought a couple.
That play right there was when I thought about your point you just made earlier.
That area.
That play right there, when I saw both of them make that play together and get up and get hype.
Yeah.
I mean, they got hype together, and it continued throughout the game.
That's what
rooting for each other.
Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. There was probably 3 or 4 different times where they got up, lifted each other up, helped each other up, slapped each other, did the like arms things. I mean, I agree. It was something I noticed as well.
And that makes it, dude, it makes a fucking difference. It makes a difference when you're like, I'm out here with my boy. We're flying to the football. We're meeting at the football. Like, and why don't I see that with?
I have seen it somewhat.
I've
seen a little bit, but probably not as much. But I have seen it.
It almost seemed like very apparent, very like we're going to do this. There
were people that I would play with, and if they got too hyped, then their eyes weren't in the right spot, and they would like let them get over their skis a little bit. But I'll promise you, when I was playing, I loved getting fired up. I loved when people brought that energy. I thought it was great for defense. You need 1 or 2 psychos on the team that either just get super juiced or get fired up. Like, you need that on defense. I mean, offensively, it's great to have a running back that runs really hard and gets people going, but I firmly believe you need it on the team and definitely on the defense.
Everybody needs to read Bacon.
You said it, not me. But I mean, in all honesty, like a Jacoby Thomas of last year or a Omar Norman Lott of last year, I mean, you got to have some of that. So,
I thought Jeremy Banks was really good at that 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Very good point. Let's see. So now it's 2nd and 13, screen to the back. It was awesome again by Colton. He defeated the block, good pursuit, and then you got 3rd and 10, which was the Ed Reese pick. And that was a phenomenal play. I really like Ed Reese. I really liked him when he signed here. That was the video where I said it was criminal that it was only a 3-star, not a 4-star. I do believe he will continue to take the steps in his open field tackling where it's not so much feast or famine. But that's just defense right now as a whole is very feast or famine. But the fact that you come off the blitz, but you get your hands up when you realize you're not going to get there, and then that you made a play on the ball, it was, and then he house called it. I mean, there's some guys, and I'm not going to take shots at players, but there's some guys that used to wear the orange that play defense that got a lot of hype on defense. Some of them that maybe even played the same position that had Reese plays, and they never made a play like that ever.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying like that was a hell of a play I just was very impressed by it. I was very impressed.
Yeah. So just to speak the play before on that screen, Spillman, I like saw his ability to seek through the blockers. I was like, oh, look at him fucking go. And then he just like throws his body into the tackle.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, buddy, like, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up. Let's finish the play. And then like the dial up of the blitz, bringing the guys mugged up, in the middle, confusing that offensive line, making them think the more dangerous person is inside. We're going inside. No one even looks at Farouk. He's coming off the edge unblocked. And it's like, all right, now you've come off the edge unblocked. Nobody's touching you. You're in open field, and you got the quarterback in front of you in open field. Now the options are yours, and what are you going to do with them? And he makes a great play. Mm-hmm. He's watching the quarterback, his eyes, his movement. Oh, hey, he's not trying to juke me out. He's not trying to get outside of me. He's trying to throw this. I'm jumping up and batting it. As soon as that ball touches my hands, I'm looking up. Where is it? And it stayed with him. So, yeah, I mean, a great play to, like, finish the way he's supposed to.
Yeah, agreed. They actually used that a couple times where they brought Ed Reese, which I like Ed Reese as a blitzer. They, on their big score, which we'll talk about, they actually brought Caleb. But and not that I don't trust Caleb, but I like Ed Reese when they bring him on that blitz. By the way, did you see Andre Turntine in the game at all last night?
I saw him one time duck his fucking head and miss a guy. I did see Caleb Beasley getting more snaps at safety.
Yeah, I saw Caleb Beasley and Ed Reese, and I saw even number 26 who we talked about last week, Walton, I think, who's the freshman. Yeah, I don't know if they finally have seen enough of Andre and been like, we just can't play you because you just don't bring anything to the table. Like, do we think Andre Turntine was making that play that Reese Farouk made last night? I don't either. I don't either. So, I don't know.
I don't think if he's in that scenario, like sitting there unblocked, coming off the edge, that he's doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't like talking and beating up guys. I'm not trying to beat up on him, but it's just, he hasn't shown anything at all. So I don't know why you leave him out there. But before we started this, I went to Rocky Top Insider on Twitter and looked at or on Instagram and went to their post where they always show game time, and I'm like, well, he wasn't injured, so you know what I mean. Like he was there. Okay, so let's see. Next note here. So we're back on defense. Alleyways that made it up to the second level. Not ideal, but it's second and 6. Here's the touchdown. So I got 3 reasons why that touchdown happened. So first off, wide side of the field. Smart play by Kentucky, used the wide side of the field. Mm-hmm. They got fortunate that it was they caught us on a blitz on the wide side of the field. I personally get extremely nervous when we blitz off the wide side because it takes the guy a long time to get there.
Yeah.
And then your pursuit back. That's why I always like blitzing from the short side of the field, but you can't always do that. So a little bit of fortune there. Hey, we're going to run this quick. They're trying to bring it. You get Beasley in no man's land. I actually thought that Jalen attacks it well and sheds the block well. Unfortunately, he shedded it and jumped inside because that runner showed inside a little bit before bouncing out. Mm-hmm. William Wright didn't do really anything well on this play. He kind of got caught, just in no man's land. Then he's trying to fight off a block, and he jumps inside. And then the other thing is Reese's angle wasn't great on this. He was a little flat. I don't think they knew that Buddy had this stuff in him. But the other thing about this, when the other thing about this is that's elite speed. When he took off, I said, yo, and I felt like that guy, and then they had a running back that I thought had some absolute burners to them where they were hitting stuff and they were just taking off. Like, I don't know if Kentucky just hasn't used some of these dudes, but they had at least 2 or 3 guys that I thought had some elite speed.
Well, I think it goes back to the importance of the way you attack blocks and the way you're getting off of them, because as soon as 2 guys were blocked, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it took is 2 dudes getting blocked or not being in the position to make the play. It's like even if they got off the block, they got off on the wrong side, it's a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, that's the important if we always talk about you have to keep your outside arm free. That guy may still score in that position because he was so fast, but Jalen and William Wright have to turn him back inside to Caleb. To Caleb trying to pursue, to Ed Reese trying to pursue. But Ed Reese went over there, and like I said, he probably went a little flat, but when he got there, damn, William Wright was getting blocked into him. So it's like, you know what I mean?
Here's also something that is just like a little nugget of football that maybe not everyone thinks about, but when they call out downhill speed, downhill runners, they're also making a comment on the actual field and the way it's shaped. It has a kind of peak to it in the middle of the football field. So you are usually running downhill when you are going towards the sideline. People can seem almost faster doing that. So inverse, if you're running towards the middle of the field, you can be a little bit slower. So it's like, get the guy going towards the middle of the field. You know how much harder it would have been for him to have to go inside, speed, and then speed back out to the sideline to try and get away from people. It's like it's your advantage. It's your advantage making him cut back inside.
Yeah, it doesn't
And
look
the DB,
like it.
I would just think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, I want to make this play, but like if I don't, I never want him to go outside.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. And everyone's probably thinking you're crazy until they would have to go and walk on a field because the field does have a little bit of a It's flat. It's flat, but there's still a little bit of a I don't want to say a drop, but you just kind of have to walk it and see it. Especially if you stand on one sideline and look across. Okay, so now we're on offense. Perry let the guy across his face. I thought Joey did a good job of still finding Miles.
Before that play.
What's that?
Kissed him in one-hander for like 2-yard gain, but it was still, I was like, oh, damn.
No, that's the play I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
So Perry,
I thought you might be talking about the next play where it's a run.
No,
the guy got across Pendleton's face.
Yeah, no, the first one is guy gets across Perry's face, but Joey still made a really good job to like get outside, found Miles one-handed, so you get 4 yards that look like a busted play. Then you get the stuff run across Pendleton's face. Now it's 3rd and 7, and I thought it was good coverage. I thought, and I didn't play quarterback, but I felt like Joey did have Braylon on the out route. I know that's a long throw, and if it's short and inside, that can get picked and house called, but I trust Joey to make that throw. He didn't want to throw it. Then he goes and throws it to Peyton and just got Peyton hospital balled. And then you're done. So that's what, 2 back-to-back, 3 and outs.
Yeah. I think Joey got a little antsy on that one. Mm-hmm. I think he was okay. The pass protection was fine. And I think he got a little like, and that maybe like brought his eyes down a little bit where he couldn't see those open guys downfield.
Yeah, maybe. I just felt like, you would feel like pre-snap, you got Braylon on that out route to pick up the 7 yards at the sticks, but yeah, it's all good. So we punt. We're back on defense now. You got, Bryson absolutely eats up. Dalvin Hobbs, I'd love to see him getting fired up. He's another one that I feel like always brings some juice. There were some young D linemen out there that were showing some juice. I thought like Ethan Utley played well, but also got fired up a couple times. He's a true freshman. So just thinking about, next play actually. Yeah. So 2nd and 12, they try the screen. Ethan gets really nice pressure. And then I loved how Jordan Pilati played it. He sits right on it. There's nothing there. And then you got 3rd and 12. It was a blitz with man, and it was really nice coverage and tackle by Jalen McMurray. I think they probably got 10 yards. They probably got 10 yards, but we still made the tackle 2 yards short, and they got to punt it. And this goes, I don't know if you saw it circling around, but one of the decent-sized Vol Twitter accounts took a screenshot of us bringing the mugged-up blitz with the people's feet at the sticks. And they're like, if I ever see this defense again, like I'm going to lose it. We ran that double mug 8 times last night, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Sometimes we brought it in man. Sometimes we We brought it in zone. Sometimes we dropped out into zone. It was like that's what that is. It's a blitz. It's a gamble. Sometimes it's going to work. Sometimes it didn't. And Jalen did a really good job that like that quarterback still got the ball out, but Jalen was there and made the tackle short of the stick. So that's just something to tell people about. You got anything there on that you want to hit before we keep moving?
No, I mean, it just started to be very, very obvious how many screens they were going to try and run during this game. When they did like a double screen, they had screen on both sides of the play. At one point, I'm just like, God dang, they are afraid of this rush.
That was the one where Ethan got nice pressure coming from the quarterback's right side, and Pilates sits on it on the left with really good eyes. Even they even said when they interviewed Mark Stoops that he said, I want to get, quick game stuff. So that's all they were going to do is quick game east to west, try to get our guys moving, and then they would just hit those little baby-like hitches and stuff in the middle. We'll get to it, but the only shot they actually took was a slot shot. But that throw was probably only a 15, 20-yard throw because Boo got beat so bad off the line. You go to offense here. You go to offense, bomb to Chris. There it is. That's our second one to him.
In the bucket. He got up so confident. Like, I'm just messing with these folks.
I know. It did. There was a little bit of a push that looked very similar to the one where we got offensive PI against Mississippi State, which I thought it was a bad call, and it would have been a really bad call last night. But he does have that little bit extending at the end, and it just makes me nervous that some people are going to call it. They didn't last night, thank goodness. Nice block by Star Thomas, getting a pancake on the Braylon screen out of the backfield.
Great leading throw to Braylon too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was right in the direction he's running, over his shoulder, leading him into it, and Star pancakes, buddy.
Yeah. So, and that's a nice little wrinkle. You want to get Braylon the ball in the open field, put him back in the backfield. If Deshaun Bishop and Peyton Lewis have trouble catching that, okay, well, we'll just let Braylon do it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then you got a little tick. I thought it was a little tic-tac hold on Jack. I mean, Jack was holding, probably just let go towards the end, but I still didn't think it was anything egregious, especially for a youngster as a freshman, which I'm not saying that the refs need to take that into account. I'm just saying
and shout out Jack. Beginning of the season, he's a jumbo tight end. He's only in when we're doing jumbo, and now I'm seeing him throughout the game.
Yeah,
I'm seeing him in more often out on the edge because he's a good fucking blocker.
Yeah, he's
he
a good
puts a lot
player.
of damn effort into it, and now that gets you on the field.
Yep. And then you got Star down to the one, and then Star finishes it off with the TD.
Great burst up the middle. Their great read on the backside tight end. I think it was Kitzelman. No, it might have been Van. He steps that foot inside as if, hey, I'm going to go and work up, realizes, hey, everybody's taken care of, and I actually just need to seal this dude on the end of the line of scrimmage. Does that, Star cuts back and is right in between him. That's where the seam is. Gets down to the one and then, finishing it off.
So if we're going to defense, 1st and 10, they do a good job. They put a little hitch in the zone. It was right behind Jordan Ross's back, which is fine. I thought he did a good job getting eyes out elsewhere. 1st and 10, it was awesome read and react by Joshua Joseph. And then you got Colton, Tyree, Nate, Boo, and Moy all in pursuit, which you love to see. If you pause the video, they're all screaming to the ball. Second and 11. Turn your head, please. Can you just turn your head? Because I'm going to get nervous that it's going to get a PI, and later in the game you didn't turn your head. It seemed pretty similar to me, and they did call it on you. So just turn your head because you're in good coverage. 3rd and 11. This is the fumble play. Unbelievably hilarious play. The most Kentucky play I've ever seen. But kudos to the guys for, good trigger, good recognition by 26. So this is the young fellow that, like I said, we talked about. He was in at safety last week. Walton. Anyways, I'll look him up. But I just want to say, it was a good trigger by him. This is another one where we're showing a mugged up blitz. They're going to have to get to the sticks. They do a crossing route, and he reads it perfectly. He comes up, makes the hit. It was a nice hustle by Jane Harmon, who was one of the blitzers, to get back there. And then everyone started screaming for the ball. And I will give Boo a good shout out that he made a really nice hard hit to make another fumble. Because if that guy keeps getting outside, I don't know. I'm not watching the all-22. I don't know what is out there. So if Boo does not make that tackle, I don't want one of their fast players, out leveraging and out running all of our guys, because all of our guys are trying to get on the ground. And so good hit by Boo, and then Jordan Pilati picks it up. But I was extremely impressed with how I'm going to go find his name right now because I forgot from last week. Do you have anything else on that?
I just love the fact that it's, hey, the guy's held up. Let's keep working on that ball. Let's keep trying to get that ball out. Let's keep trying to pull at it. Sometimes I feel like that's forgotten by defensive players.
Sidney Walton is the safety I was thinking about, number 26. I thought it was an awesome play to stick his foot in the ground, read and react, and then shoot his gun. And once again, freshman, that's impressive.
Yeah. So. And then just something earlier in that drive I thought was funny. We had Jordan Ross was out there at DN. He dropped back into coverage, and then they completed that ball over there.
Yeah.
And they immediately took him out. And you could see, like, they took him out, and he went like that. And he was like, damn it, I messed up my opportunity to drop in coverage.
I actually thought he did a good job dropping in coverage and getting his eyes around, but his eyes were so focused on, like, more of the flat, and they hit the hitch behind him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so offense, we get the ball. We kind of have a couple runs. Joey scrambles, and I loved it. But it's like, come on, Joey. Like, just make sure you get in the end zone, dude. What are we doing here? Like,
yeah,
I
thought it was close when it happened live, and I was like, okay, hopefully they don't look at that.
But didn't it seem like he had a little bit more room? Like, he wasn't like he was about to get blasted.
I mean, he probably did, but at the same time, it's one of those, like, maybe if he goes a little longer, then the defensive player goes down as well. Like, the defensive player dives. So then it's two diving dudes at each other. And if he's going forward, that's not – like, that's allowed. You're going forward. You're not giving yourself up.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
So, like, I get why he was quick to do the dive. That's what you want to do to avoid getting that hit. But when he didn't get it, I wasn't like, oh, we're not going to get this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was so confident we're still going to go in and be able to score.
And that's what they did. They just pounded it right at him on fourth down. And dare I say that we should have just done that last week. Okay, sorry. Back to defense, 1st and 10, good run, good block to the second level. They got the first, so now you're back at 1st and 10 again. Edwin got absolutely truck sticked, and then JT kind of got truck stick too, but at least you brought the guy down. And then you got the slot shot on Boo, excuse me, not Brew, Boo. You're in man coverage. They set your ass up. They know they're going to the slot shot, and you don't get any hands on Buddy. You don't reroute him at all. And Boo's supposed to be a fast athlete, but this is good. This is good for Boo. Hey, you think you're fast? There's always somebody a little bit faster out there. You got smoked. You didn't play good technique. You didn't have good alignment. Buddy, that guy is the quintessential of our defense. He makes a good play, and then he does something boneheaded.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Vol Nation probably agrees with this. Looked like a lot of give up there towards the end of the play. And something you've said all the time, live to play another down, keep them on the field because crazy shit might happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think Boo thought that way on that play. I do think there was a give up, just let them score.
So you're saying if Boo had the ball in his hand on a punt return, he might have ran faster?
I do think so. I think the miles per hour, you would be able to tell whether he's got the ball in his hand or whether he's tracking down somebody who beat him.
Yeah. Okay, so we're back on offense. You got a good run just a run by Star, 3 yards. But then you got 2nd and 7, PA. Oh, I love the dig. And it was to Rodarius Jackson, which I actually thought he was out. I thought he was supposed to be out, but it was good to see him. I'm excited for that kid's future. He's just a big-bodied guy, looks good. 1st and 10, run to start again. Then you got 2nd and 7, hold by David. Little bit of a little tic-tacky.
I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I don't really know about that. Yeah, you can call it every play, but come on.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you what, it's cool to have a 5-star that actually is a 5-star. Like David's nasty, bro. He is.
There's what's great about him is nobody's getting around him on pass pro.
Oh,
not even like I'm not even thinking about that anymore. Like I just watch him like, yeah, he's locked buddy down.
Yeah, I guess that's what 5-stars are when you hit on one. We just need a few more of them. Let's see. 2nd and 17, you get stuffed. And then, man, Heupel. This is probably there's only 2 plays that I was bummed out with Joey. And this one's the one I'm really bummed out because that one that I mentioned that he had Braylon, I get it. You made a good point. He probably felt it, got a little antsy too quick, eyes dropped. But this play is designed exactly for where it's supposed to go, and he just doesn't throw it there. And then when he throws it, it's like it's kind of
it almost looked like he was looking there too.
Yeah,
looking in that direction of Mike, and it's like, what are you actually looking at then?
3rd and 17 is so hard to pick up, and Heupel drew something up that would have picked it up with the defense that they played, and he just doesn't go to him. And in a bigger game, in a bigger matchup, that's the one for me that irks me as a quarterback because me personally, whether it was that I trusted my coaches or whether I was just too scared and nervous to let them down or let my team down, but as a quarterback, when that play's called, I am looking at that guy for like 10 minutes, and if he's not there, then I'll throw it somewhere else. But that is basically a screenplay. And it's like the fact that he doesn't go there. I just want to ask Joey. I want to grab Joey and be like, Joey, you've been so good, but what are we doing here? Like, I want to hear what he says because there is really one option, and you didn't go to the one option, and it would have worked out for us.
Yeah, it's almost like he's thinking deep to shallow in the routes, but it's like this is designed for a certain thing.
Yeah.
This isn't deep to shallow anymore. That's not how this play is designed.
Yeah. So then we punt, and then Kyler. This is probably the most frustrating. Was I rewatched this morning? Was the defense? They start at the 4-yard line. It's 1st and 10, and there's 10 minutes to go, and they basically drive it all. They drive it all the way down, eat up 9 minutes or 8 minutes. And the crazy thing is, Kyler, and we can go play by play and talk about it. But I felt like we won 1st down. I thought we won 2nd down a good amount of times, and then we just got beat on 3rd downs, and that's why they call 3rd down the money down because you got to get off the field. And it was tough to watch. I mean, as I watched it, you kind of get an understanding. Stop me anywhere you want.
This was the drive that I was like, shit, like we just have to score every time because now Kentucky is back in this game all of a sudden.
And it was the same thing with Bama. Bama had 2 massively long drives against us where we just could not get off the field. And people get mad at Tim Banks. But like Tim Banks is literally trying everything he can. I'm not saying I'm defending Tim Banks and love him, but I definitely don't think he should be fired. It's like 3 years ago or 2 years ago, everyone wanted him fired and wanted Willie Martinez fired. Then we were great. You hear nothing. And now it's bad, like somewhat bad again. So now they want him gone. And it's like, I'm not defending him, but the man does not have his 2 starting corners, and he lost 2 first and second round guys on the D line, plus 2 other guys who were good college players. And when we get to it, if we talk about it, I think just as much of the loss at corners, those loss at D line, because our D line is still good, but they're not as good as they were last year getting pressure. And if you got a good D line, those corners and safeties look a hell of a lot better because they're not guarding for 4 seconds. They're guarding for 2.5. So anyways, 1st and 10, we stop them. Yeah, we stop them. It's 2nd and 9 now. Good tackle by JJ and Jalen. Now you got 3rd and 4, and it's a zone with 4 rushers. I thought it was just a good play by the quarterback. We don't blitz him. We don't have a spy because we don't feel like we need one for him. So then our backers just got probably too much depth for 4 yards. You got to always play the sticks. And when he took off, our guys shot their guns. They just couldn't get there fast enough. So then they barely get the first down by a yard. Edwin, this was pretty unacceptable on first down. But Jordan and Edwin got sucked in bad. And then it was a good tackle by Caleb in the open field. And I do respect Joshua Joseph's hustle. 1st and 10. This time Edwin eats, which is funny. He has a bad one. Now he does a good job. 2nd and 7. Edwin blitzes, and it's an awesome trigger. And it's a really nice PBU by Ty Redmond. That's where he just sticks his hand up, gets batted down.
Yeah, just awareness by him, just backing up out of it, being like, all right, I see a guy coming.
Yeah. So now you're 3rd and 7. Now we're showing the mug again where we're going to blitz. They run a screen right behind it. I thought Caleb Herring and the other D-line triggered really well.
Great effort.
And those guys give awesome effort. I mean, whether it's Tyree West with the chase down in Mississippi State, whether it's Caleb or Jordan or Dalvin Hobbs, when these guys recognize, they play their ass off, which sucks that they're labeled as a bad defense because of the points and yardage. When these guys are giving a lot of damn effort, like on the D-line, they just haven't been as productive rushing the passers as last year. Colton
I think this might have been the play where I saw Turrentine, or it might be later.
Oh, okay.
But just enough dead.
Okay. Well, Colton and Reese here, they got caught outside, and so the guy cut in inside. Another thing about this, while the middle of the field was kind of open, is we didn't have any backers in the back, or we had linebackers, but they were showing. We didn't have anyone kind of right there patrolling the middle, and so that's why they ran it back inside, and it worked out. So that's another 3rd down they get. Now you get Caleb Herring jumps. They are at 1st and 5, and we hold them to 3rd and 5. They gain no yards for 2 downs. So once again, the defense does pretty good job to win 1st and 2nd down. We got a really good stuff by Jordan Ross after disengaging. Then you get stuffed them again by JT and Edwin. This is one of those plays where they both got fired up. And then you're at 3rd and 5, which 3rd and 5 is extremely manageable for an offense. But as a defensive coordinator, you got to be really happy with what your defense just did. They just gave up 0 yards for 2 plays. So it's just a little unfortunate. And then they this was a beautiful play.
Weathersby.
What?
No, that was this one. Wasn't it 3rd down?
I'm at 3rd and 5. 3rd and 5. So 3rd and 5. I don't know what you think about this play. I thought it was a beautiful play by Kentucky. So here's what you're thinking. Whether it's we're going to bring man blitz, so they've got guys bunched in, and if it's zone, they got guys bunched in, and we're just sending this. So if it's man, you're going to be fine because we're going to have to chase, and if it's zone, we're going to have to be really good with our eyes and pass off. So they bunch to the right. So they got 3 guys to the right. They also have the running back right behind or right next to the quarterback, but on the right side, so that as those 3 bunch all go out, and one goes upfield, one goes a shallow, another one goes middle hitch, which is where T-Lander grabs his eyes. The running back comes out. All they do is bring a little shallow from the left, and it's wide open because everyone's eyes were already taken. This play, there was nothing really to me where anything was bad by the defense. It just happened to be a really good play call. We didn't get any pressure, and then therefore, it's just there. It was just a really good play. So it's a bummer that we gave it up, but I thought it was just a good concept but no one else had bad eyes. I mean, Edwin took his guy. The corner stayed and took his. T-Lander ran with his guy. Maybe you say pass him off, but then if you pass him off and it goes above your head, everyone's pissed. So that was just a good play by Kentucky. Now we're at Tyrese Weatherby. Beautiful, beautiful play on the backside of the read option. I love how Colton triggers as well and takes on the block, and then Edwin over the top. It was a beautiful play. That's probably going to be a big-time play alert because I've already screenshotted it.
Yeah, no, that was awesome because he also played both. He played that option enough. He stayed back enough to be like, hey, I can take this quarterback if I need to. And then was able to chase it down from the backside.
Yep.
Now
Now we have second 21, dump to the running back. Edwin reacts decently well, but they still got, a good amount of yards because we just drop back in zone. And then it's 3rd and 9, double mug. We drop out. And I loved how Dalvin hustled, man. I mean, I love how Dalvin hustled. We did make the tackle, but they came up 1 yard short. They went for it on 4th and 1, and they run the end around. And
they knew immediately before, like, they knew they were going to do that on 4th and 1. Because if I remember correctly, we called a timeout before this 4th down. And I just remember seeing, like, as the camera was panning across, the Kentucky players are like, hey, come on. Like, they already knew, like, hey, this is the play we're going to run on 4th.
Yeah.
I think it was almost like talked about on 3rd. Hey, you're going for it. And then that's a great executed play based off of what you were just doing, getting them kind of afraid of the run inside. And then, like, Redmond seeking around the edge was really good. And his ability to get through traffic, it's just trying to finish. He wasn't able to. Because, like, even if he finishes right there and it's a 1 yard gain and they make a first, I'm like, hey, you know what? It's right there. They made it first. He was so close to being able to actually, like, finish that play off.
You either have to have an elite play, like literally an elite play as the corner or DB, or you just got to get lucky that, like, your edge steps upfield and takes it away. But if you remember, Vanderbilt tried to run a play very similar like that against us, and Ricky Gibson followed it all the way across and ate the play up. It might have been 4th and 2, but I remember I've seen something like that, and Ricky Gibson ate it up. So let's see. They go ahead and score. They drive down.
Double on that touchdown.
Yeah, they go on to go ahead and touchdown. And then for me, for the rest of my notes is
well, I got to at least talk about this.
Okay, go ahead.
The 2-minute drive going into half.
Oh, that's where I was going to finish. That's how I'm finished. Yeah.
We got to at least talk about that because of the fact a couple weeks ago, we had a full conversation about how do we trust Heupel and the guys and the decision-making in a 2-minute drive.
I'm glad you brought it up. I meant like I was done defensively there, and the last notes that I have basically for the game is this drive is I mean, you got 135 left with one timeout. Matter of fact, the play I got pulled up here now, it was a 3rd and 6, and I just love that, hey, you see that it's man, or it seems to be man. It actually is zone, but the guy that – well, I don't know if it's man or zone. I think it is man, actually. But they just go to an out route. Hey, let's pitch and catch here, out route to Ethan Davis.
Oh, yeah, it was great.
I mean, so, like, that was a great play. And I still
that play,
I still get a little nervous, Tyler, because it is 3rd and 6, which is great that there's only 19 seconds left, because if we don't get this and we punt it, Kentucky's not going to do anything. But then again, like, we're still like, damn it, Heupel, like, you're really playing with this time frame here. But
you're playing with fire. And here's the one part that I wanted to bring up is 3rd down after getting tackled inbounds, okay, on a little wide receiver screen, gets tackled in bounds, and it's 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 3. No timeouts called. Just hurry up to the line and then run it for the first. Seemed very like you're playing with fire here, wasting precious seconds that you may need later. Yeah. So that one I was like, oh, crap. Like, I do not like that. Just like running the ball for the first down. You know that you'll get the first down, which I understand. But even just like getting back to the ball, getting set up, getting the play in, that took a while. It took some time off the clock.
Yeah.
Which made me very nervous for the following. And then the 3rd down, we get out of bounds, but it's still like, we don't have much time left.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can even get to the end zone now.
Yeah. Well, this play after that one, this 1st and 10, Joey, man, does a great job keeping those eyes downfield. He's got a guy right in his face, and he
gets it.
He steps into it and delivers an awesome ball to Braylon. Braylon catches it. I really respect Braylon getting up immediately, tossing the ball to the ref. They're getting on the line here. I mean, it was nice, man. It was well executed. And then the fact, like, I was sitting there and my dad's like, we just need 3. Just give me 3. I was like, dude, screw that. Like, I want to punch this in bat. And I know you have to take the 3. I'm not sitting here saying don't kick the field goal. But the fact that they were able to clutch up and keep it a 14-point game compared to a 10-point game, knowing that Kentucky gets the ball after half, made me feel really great. Because if we kick 3, it's a 10-point game. They come out, have like a 6, 7, 8 minute yard drive, and then they score. It's a 3-point game in the second half. Like, that's where you let bad teams hang around, and then it's a fourth quarter game, and then people's lower region starts getting a little tight. So
yeah, for sure. I like that they punched it in. Obviously, you're keeping it in your back pocket, but hey, hell of a play call with 10 seconds left, knowing you're like, hey, I got one more play. Yeah, what are we gonna do here?
I thought it was a good play by Tennessee. I'm watching it again right here. But I'll be honest with you, if I was a Kentucky fan, I'd been furious. I'd been furious, dude.
I mean, Ethan didn't make a fucking cut in his route, dude. You know what I mean? It's not like he was like like making those guys miss. He just ran straight, buddy.
I'm looking at it. If you're Kentucky and you just took a timeout to look at what we're doing, you know we have a timeout. You should assume we're taking a shot at the end zone before getting a field goal. So this is situational football. I'm watching it. They blitz 4. No one gets pressure. Their guys that are in zone are lollipopping back in their zone. The one guy has his eyes in the totally wrong place, and we just deliver a zip right behind him. I mean, that's about as much route on air as can get. I mean, if your head coach is supposed to be a defensive guy and that happens, I'd be furious as a Kentucky fan.
Yeah, agreed. Okay, do you want to just touch on some stuff in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, the second half to me was,
if there was anything that you wanted to touch on.
Oh, no, not really. Not really. I don't know about for you.
Let's see. I'm just reviewing on the offensive side. Love the deep ball to Mike.
Yep.
Real difference in, I remember pointing it out when Mike scored his first touchdown versus UAB, how excited he was and hype. And it's like, here's another one kind of on the same side of the field. He scores a touchdown. He's like, business. This is business. Let's see. Peyton doing a good job following blockers before that touchdown. Just setting up blocks, good stiff arm, getting to the edge. Like, I was like, okay, good run, Peyton. Staley showing some absolute burners on his little post pattern, and then he just takes off. Almost didn't expect that speed from him, but I like it. And guess what? He's running downhill. So helps a little bit there. Defensive side. Let's see. This was when I saw Turrentine dive his head for a tackle. Utley doing a good job of reading a screen. Redmond open field tackle. They try that double pass. Idris kind of comes up for it. He loses his man. That was open. That was wide open. They don't get it. Dominic Bailey absolutely bullying the tackle for his sack. Just pushed him right back into his buddy's lap. I love seeing that. Do you think on that one touchdown where Idris was in coverage on the guy and they kind of threw it like right towards the sideline, the guy got 1 foot in bound, like 1 foot in the zone?
That was a ridiculous catch.
Do you think there could have been a chance Idris jumped too early?
Yeah, maybe.
On that?
Maybe, but he had good coverage. I mean, he was there.
He's there.
I kind of chalk it up as it was just a really good play by that guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good throw too.
It was a very good throw. Very good throw.
He only put it in one spot.
I mean, rewatch just as I have it just running as you were talking. I mean, that screen sniff out and blow up by Edwin Spillman was sick. Him and T-Lander got fired up again. 2nd and 9, and Reese comes up and absolutely dummies a guy. I mean, it was a form tackle, so it's not like it was something you would see on NFL Countdown jacked up. But like this is real football when you got a guy squared up in the hole and people aren't going to really if people aren't going to really see it, Ed Reese murders him, and it was a form tackle. I mean, and see, this is kind of a good segue to OU because we've seen all of these guys make these good plays.
Mm-hmm.
And as you always say, this is what I've seen, so now this is what I expect. And for me, going into this OU game, like I've seen our offense do it. We have seen our offense do it. And ultimately, I think you would agree, we haven't seen our offense be stopped by anyone. It's been more about what we've done. There's, of course, been plays where Alabama or Georgia or Arkansas or Mississippi State, like those guys have made plays defensively. But as a whole, it is us shooting ourselves in the foot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am so intrigued by this OU game because I was never really worried about OU. I know their defense is good. I don't think it's really good because when they were talking about it yesterday, it was kind of the point that I was making, like, they've played Michigan and Auburn and some of these other teams that aren't good offensively. So they kind of were taking advantage. Maybe a little bit of how Tennessee was last year. It's like Tennessee's defense was, these are generational defense. Are they an all-time great defense? It's like, no, they were really good, but we probably played some, lower level offenses. And so it's like I feel like I have a good gauge now that Ole Miss went and put 38 points on them or whatever it was that they put up on them. Mm-hmm. And there might have been a defensive score in there. So sorry if I missed it, but they put 30-something points on them. They put high 20s on them. So I believe that if Lane Kiffin can do that on the road, there should be no reason that Heupel and this offense can't do it at home.
Yeah.
And so that's now I'm sitting here thinking, I've seen you do it offensively. I've seen other teams do it offensively. I expect you to do it. And if you don't go do it against OU, I'm going to be a little bit bummed. And so the OU's offense does not frighten me at all. Now, our defense has been super Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where we make really good plays, but then we can't get off the field. But once again, Kyler, as frustrating as the defense can be, they still got us 14 points. And Reese walked in for 7, and then they got us the ball down at like the 3-yard line. They gave us 14 points last night. If our defense gives us 14 points, we should be good enough on offense to win every game we play, right or wrong.
I mean, they lead the country in defensive touchdowns.
So it's like it's just feast or famine. It's bend but don't break. We're going to give up yards. We're going to give up long drives, and they are demoralizing and frustrating. But if they can get us a couple turnovers, a couple stops, and a touchdown, we shouldn't lose because of them. We shouldn't lose
because of what we expect out of our offense. We should not. Because it's like, hey, your defense is going to give you 7 points, guaranteed, and they're going to give you another turnover in short side of the field.
Very short side of the field on this one.
Very short side of the field. So what can you do?
Yeah.
Now you have that, and then the rest of the time they will let the team score. What are you going to do? I'd be like, all right, they gave me 14 points. I have a 14-point lead. I'm going to be able to score.
Yep.
So I'm with you there. I think going to this OU game, I am very much like it is all offense. I am just looking at the offense. If the offense performs, we win. If they underperform, we lose. I'm going to enjoy the defense making plays, but I'm not going to expect a lot out of them because, I'm watching the OU Ole Miss game and I'm like, Mateer's not that good. He always throws a sidearm. I'm like, yeah, their offense can be stopped, And I'm like thinking these things. And then I watch us versus Kentucky versus a freshman quarterback and versus an offense that's been puttering. and we're still giving up points, and we're still letting up big plays. And I was just like, all right, like that, it's going to happen. Like next week, it's going to happen. They're going to let up plays. Mateer is going to have one of those scrambles. He's going to keep running around. That number 5 for Oklahoma, we talked about speed earlier on the Kentucky team. That guy's speed. So every DB on Tennessee, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, please remember that number 5 for Oklahoma is fucking faster than you. Okay? So play it that way, right? Take your angle in that way. Okay? Back the heck up when you're covering him. Okay? He is faster than you. I want you to realize that, because I swear to gosh, if I see a damn safety take an angle towards this mug and it's awful and he just outruns him around the block and goes down the sideline for a 78-yard touchdown like he did versus Ole Miss, I'm going to be upset. After I just said I'm not going to be upset. I'm going to be upset. So that is kind of how I see it on defense. On offense, watching Oklahoma's defense, they're going to give us different looks. They're going to play a 4-man front. They're also going to play a bear front. They did it. They did both versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss was able to take advantage. I think the most important part about that is taking what the defense gives you. When they get into that bear and there's more guys in the box and it's harder to run between the tackles, what can you do to get play action and guys out in the flats? Or play action, get them biting and guys across the middle. When they go to the 4 down and they drop 8 in coverage, what can you do to set up screens versus that, or draws versus that? Underneath shots where you got crossers and, he can get that first down after he makes the catch. So I think it's just playing smart versus that defense, taking what they give you, because they got some athletes out there. They got some good players. They got some good tacklers. But, I have all the confidence in the world in Chris Brazzell in any kind of one-on-one matchup, which they will do. They will put their guys in man. I have a ton of confidence in Joey in his abilities. And this offensive line has shown me really good stuff. I didn't like the way Pendleton played this week. I thought there was a lot of times he's getting beat across his face or getting push-pulled and pass pro. But overall, this offensive line plays really well. I love Deshaun, and I love Starr. And, we didn't have the drops this week like we did in previous weeks. So, again, this is going to be offense needs to score and offense needs to execute. And that's how I'm going to have to look at this game.
Yeah, so I think I think the multiple fronts and the multiple looks will definitely be something. I would be shocked if Venables doesn't come into this and it's like, all right, we're going to play 3 deep safeties and let our corners really try to eat up. Or if we play, our corners and safeties really deep, let linebackers and nickels really, really eat. But I just think it's going to be, we're going to take away the deep shot, and we're also going to play really aggressive on your run game and any of these little screens that you try to dink dunk, and you're going to have to really try to get that intermediate stuff going to beat us. So I'm very excited to see how Heupel attacks him. I wouldn't be surprised if this game kind of starts out like a Georgia game where we're just like, holy crap, we've gone 3 possessions and we've run it 5 times. You know what I mean? Like if we really just try to pick our poison and just dink and dunk them and hit them and move the ball, because I think they will do a pretty good job of selling out against the run. And then defensively, Mateer doesn't scare me because, as I've been saying for weeks now, he's more swaggy than he is good. And like yesterday, I watched the chance where he had the chance to continue the game, and he just slings it deep when there's a guy wide open to get the first down. It's like, what are you doing, dude? I
agree with you, but I did just see a freshman Utley get some good rushing yards on our defense. So it's kind of like, Hey, you know where this guy's the most comfortable is running the football, not actually throwing it. And if you give him that many opportunities, he's going to get confident, and then he's going to feel like, oh yeah, I can sling this all over the yard, and he might.
And I hear you, and that's what I was going to say is like, if I'm OU, you literally run the rock with your quarterback and your running backs, and then you dink and dunk those damn screens and those edges and try to get lucky like Georgia, not lucky, but like Georgia hit us with that Moss guy or Zachariah Branch. They hit him. He house called one on the edge. We saw Kentucky hit one on the edge, house call it. Like if you're OU, it very much is just run the rock with your guys and then just dink and dunk the outside and make our guys get off block and chase your speed down and keep the game in front of them. They're not going to let Mateer just drop back and try to win in the game. So I think let me just say, I think there's a really good recipe for OU to be in this game, but I like Tennessee because we're at home and, I think we got the playmakers to do what we need to do.
Yes, that is correct. This is one of the remaining big ones where we got to win this game, obviously. And if something were bad to happen, it's very writing on the wall, Just like, oh man. But I'm with you. I think we can beat this team. I don't think there's anything they've done this year that I'm like, oh yeah, Oklahoma.
I think it's more about us than them. I think depending on how it looks, Tennessee, like, I can change my opinion how it looks, but Tennessee should win this game. I mean, yeah. I've already gone on the record that we should win the rest of the games this year. So,
yeah, I'm sure we're probably favored.
You would think this game. You think we'd be favored in all of the rest of them going forward?
I don't know. If we got 2 losses, Vandy wins out, has 1.
We will be. Listen, if we went out and Vandy's only got 1 loss, we'll be favored because it's here. Just watch.
Okay. I'd love them to show a little disrespect and our guys step up.
It's not a bad thought. See you, brother.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. If you are watching, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment. If you're just listening, rate, review, download, re-download, follow us on all those listening platforms. Follow us on social media. Everything is description below. Again, y'all are the best fans in the world. Thank you for support and just keeping this thing going. Let's take it to those Sooners this week after getting the bad taste out of our mouth. And as always, go Vols.